In this video we will review some facts about famous trios. But before we start, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Many of the most well-known groupings in both pop culture and everyday life have been trios. As the saying goes, good things come in threes, and this may be especially true for trios. From boy bands to ninjas, car reviewers to scientists, these are 40 renowned trios you should know more about. Sakura, Naruto, and Sasuke. Since the original manga series began in 1999, the exploits of Naruto and his companions Sasuke and Sakura have captivated viewers all around the world. The long-running property has generated an anime series, computer games, and spin-offs due to its success. Boruto. Naruto Next Generations, a spin-off and sequel, focuses on Naruto's eponymous son. Even after the original series finished, fans have not gone without Naruto entertainment. Ron, Hermione, and Harry. Since the first Harry Potter book was released in 1997, die-hard Potterheads have relished the antics and stories of Harry, Hermione, and Ron. The magical series has spawned a slew of novels, films, video games, souvenirs, and even theme park attractions based on life inside and outside Hogwarts. Of course, the three main characters, dubbed the Golden Trio, are what make the franchise unique. Hermione, Ron, and Harry are not your usual witches and wizards, possessing intellect and bravery. Misty, Ash, and Brock. Since the series' debut in 1997, Ash Ketchum, Satoshi in Japan, and his buddy Pikachu have been the faces of the Pokémon anime series. While Ash has had several friends over the past 2 decades, none have surpassed the popularity of the originals, the tomboyish Misty and the romantic Brock. Misty left the show in 2002, and Brock in 2010, but fans from both eras remember them fondly. When Misty and Brock returned to the show for a few episodes in 2017, as part of the anime's 20th anniversary, many fans rejoiced. Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia Organa, and Han Solo. 3 of the most well-known Star Wars characters are humans with special skills and strong motivations. The first 3 films follow Luke, his twin sister Leia, and Han Solo, their rogue but endearing friend. Together, the 3 face Darth Vader and his menacing galactic empire. Donkey, Fiona, and Shrek. Who can forget the adventures of the adorable green ogre Shrek, his unlikely love interest Fiona, and his hilarious sidekick Donkey? The Shrek franchise consists of 4 films, spin-offs, merchandising, toys, video games, and attractions. Not bad for a series based on a picture book for youngsters. Despite the mediocre quality of following films, the many Shrek characters and the entire franchise, particularly the first film, remain all-stars in many people's hearts. Squidward, Patrick, and SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants, his best friend Patrick, and the grumpy neighbor Squidward have amused audiences young and old for almost 20 years. Their antics and interactions have inspired not just wonderful recollections, but also pop culture tributes and references. Who can ever forget the Bikini Bottom character's great victory in the episode Band Geeks? How about SpongeBob convincing Squidward of his fondness for Krabby Patties? Or how about Patrick yelling, "My name is not Rick"? SpongeBob SquarePants is a true sensation, and it is still going strong today. Bowser, Mario, and Luigi. Mario has one of the most recognizable faces in video gaming. He is Nintendo's mascot, and his eponymous video game series is one of the best-selling of all time. He's worked as everything from a plumber to a demolition worker, as well as a doctor, a soccer player, a baseball player, and a golfer. He's quite the all-rounder. But he wouldn't be where he is now without the help of his less notable brother, Luigi. Despite not being as well known as his brother, Luigi has a passionate fan base that cheers him on whenever he is in the spotlight, most notably in the Luigi's Mansion games. And who can forget their renowned arch-enemy, Bowser, who does nothing except abduct Princess Peach and force Mario, and occasionally Luigi, to save the day? Gimli, Aragorn, and Legolas. These 3 are main characters in the Lord of the Rings film franchise, which is based on J.R.R. Tolkien's works. Aragorn is one of the series' protagonists, and his allies include Legolas and Gimli. Legolas, an elf archer, has a feud with Gimli, a warrior. Despite their disagreements, the 3 frequently work together to achieve their mutual aims. Nirvana. Nirvana is one of history's most successful and well-known rock bands. Its most renowned lineup included Kurt Cobain, Chris Novoselic, and Dave Grohl. Millions of copies of the band's repertoire, which includes legendary songs like "Smells Like Teen Spirit," have been sold worldwide. Despite disbanding following Cobain's untimely death in 1994, Nirvana is still highly appreciated. Many musicians have covered their music and it is still featured in many media today. Leonard McCoy, James T. Kirk, and Spock. Star Trek has Kirk, Spock, and McCoy, but Star Wars has Luke, Leia, and Han Solo. Since the franchise's inception in 1966, fans have enjoyed the trio's adventures in space. Cast members have come and gone, and a new generation has emerged, yet catchphrases like, "put phases to stun," and, "he's dead, Jim," have stuck with fans and non-fans alike for decades. Neutron, proton, and electron. And now for something completely different. These trios aren't individuals, but they're all over the place. Atoms are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. All matter we observe is made up of atoms. We are all made out of atoms. In the end, we are all made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. This isn't a typical trio, yet without them, we wouldn't exist. The experience of Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Hendrix is widely regarded as one of, if not the greatest guitarists of all time. Despite his untimely death, his music continues to inspire guitar players of all ages. His band, the Jimi Hendrix Experience, comprised him, Noel Redding, and Mitch Mitchell, and was a representation of his immense skill. The Bee Gees. The Bee Gees are one of the most well-known musical groups in history. The music of the brothers Barry, Morris, and Robin was the soundtrack to many disco aficionados' lives in the 1960s and 1970s. Saturday Night Fever, the title song to the 1977 film of the same name, is one of their most famous tunes. Stayin' Alive, and How Deep Is Your Love are two of their other hits. The Chipmunks and Alvin. Whether you love them or despise them, Alvin, Simon, and Theodore's high-pitched voices have captivated audiences young and old since their debut in 1958. Cartoons, movies, video games, toys, and other types of media have all been inspired by the trio. Even if you don't recognize their tunes, you could recognize their voices. The Jonas Brothers. Joe, Kevin, and Nick have amassed a sizable fan base since their major breakthroughs as stars of several Disney television series. In addition to their band, all of them have had solo success. Nick Jonas is currently married to Bollywood superstar Priyanka Chopra, while Joe Jonas is blissfully married to Game of Thrones actress Sophie Turner. Trevor, Michael, and Franklin. Grand Theft Auto V is one of the most popular video games ever. However, the game would not be as successful without its eclectic lead trio. Michael, a retired criminal who saw a second chance at success, Franklin, a reluctant hero forced into the criminal underground, and Trevor, a former sidekick who made a reputation for themselves. Their personalities are very different, which makes for fascinating and interesting interactions as they seek fortune and recognition. Angels from Heaven. Charlie's Angels has been remade and redone numerous times. Farrah Fawcett and Cameron Diaz have both been a part of the famed trio. The series is likely best known for the trio's boss, who is only heard as a voice and never seen in person. It was once a long-running TV series in the 1970s and 1980s before being turned into a film series in the early 2000s. As legendary as the Invisible Charlie is, his angels have been the series' faces for decades, imprinting women's liberation. Dory, Marlin, and Nemo. The characters from Finding Nemo and its sequel Finding Dory are among the most beloved in Pixar history. Who can forget Marlin, the single father who was overprotective of his only kid Nemo? What about Marlin's forgetful sidekick Dory? And their adventurous journey from undersea to land in search of the stolen Nemo? For good reason, both children and adults remember the two films fondly. James May, Richard Hammond, and Jeremy Clarkson. Although there have been numerous hosts of the famed British motoring show Top Gear throughout the years, none have been as memorable as the trio of Clarkson, Hammond, and May. The three were involved with the show for over 10 years until leaving due to a contract dispute. They are still working together now as the hosts of the Amazon series The Grand Tour. Clover, Alex, and Sam. Better known as the stars of the French-American animated comedy Totally Spies, the trio has captivated audiences worldwide for 6 seasons, with a 7th on the way. One of the show's most interesting conceits is that, while being spies, the trio is still in school. As a result, they must keep their work hidden from others. Wanda, Timmy, and Cosmo. Fairly Odd Parents is one of Nickelodeon's most successful franchises, perhaps only second to SpongeBob SquarePants in terms of popularity. Timmy, the often misunderstood only child, asks his fairy godparents for wishes. Cosmo, the stupid one, and his wise wife Wanda are the vehicles for many of Timmy's misfortunes. Timmy's wishes have been the source of many childhood memories, whether it's attempting to make his life easier despite the presence of his terrible babysitter Vicky or wishing to help his pals. Eddie, Ed, and Ed. Who can forget these three boys' crazy misadventures to get females and jawbreakers? Many kids who grew up in the 1990s and early 2000s remember the group's apparent leader Eddie, the dumb but kind-hearted Ed, the brilliant Ed, or Double D, whose hat has been the subject of much discussion, and the group's dumb but kind-hearted Ed. While other show mysteries, such as what happened to Eddie's brother, were eventually answered, we may never know what is under Double D's hat. The Beastie Boys. Despite having more than 3 members at various periods in its early career, the group found its greatest success as a trio. Mike D, Ad-Rock, and MCA rose to prominence and sold millions of records throughout the world. Ganon, Link, and Zelda. Link, another legendary video game hero, has been rescuing Princess Zelda from Ganon's clutches since the original Legend of Zelda game was released in 1986. The series has now gone on to become one of the most lauded of all time. This franchise has produced some of the most well-received games in history. Link, Zelda, and Ganon have also appeared in a variety of different types of media. Louie, Huey, and Dewey. Donald Duck's loving nephews are best known as the protagonists of the animated series DuckTales. They are distinguished by their shirt colors. Huey is red, Dewey is blue, and Louie is green. Whether it's their interactions with their wealthy grandfather Scrooge McDuck or something else, children and adults of a particular age like their antics. The Child of Destiny. Beyoncé is currently one of the world's most successful female solo vocalists. Before she became a solo performer, she was a member of the musical group Destiny's Child. It featured more than 3 members at various times, but it reached its greatest success as a trio with Beyoncé, Kelly Rowland, and Michelle Williams. Three Stooges. Mo Howard, Larry Fine, and Curly Howard, collectively known as the Three Stooges, are one of the most well-known comedy groups of all time. Their vaudeville-influenced slapstick humor has inspired numerous comedic situations to this day. Even today, Three Stooges is a common moniker for trios, whether as a term of fondness or ridicule. The Three Musketeers. The Three Musketeers, Porthos, Aramis, and Athos, are 3 of the most well-known literary characters. It began as a serialized French novel in the 1800s and has since been adapted into movies, cartoons, and other forms of media. They, along with newcomer D'Artagnan, were based on real people, believe it or not. They were inspired by actual members of the Black Musketeers unit, which guarded the French king in the 1600s. The Supreme Court. The Supremes, best known for their lineup of Diana Ross, Florence Ballard, and Mary Wilson, are credited with opening many doors for young African-American vocalists. They were also one of the Motown label's first triumphs. Ross went on to have a successful solo career after the group separated. Motorhead. One of the most influential rock bands of all time, Lemmy, Larry Wallace, and Lucas Fox are regarded as heavy metal's godfathers. Their longevity, the band was active from 1975 to 2015, was as much a testament to their enduring influence on the genre. Mary, Peter, and Paul. Peter, Paul, and Mary were one of the most enduring musical groups of all time, lasting from 1961 to 2009. Albeit with a break in between. Despite the fact that the trio disbanded after Mary's death in 2009, Peter and Paul have continued to play. Their music is widely regarded as one of the most influential in the field of American folk music. The Story of Three Little Pigs. You may have read or been read The Three Little Pigs as a child. And maybe you recall how each pig built a hut to protect itself from an evil wolf. The wolf's breath quickly blew away the first 2 dwellings, which were made of straw and wood, respectively. Meanwhile, the third brick home finally halted the wolf in its tracks. Perhaps you understood the moral of the narrative, which favors hard effort and perseverance over sloth. Whether or not you understand the moral, it is one of the most famous fables in history. Blink-182. Matt Skiba, Mark Hoppus, and Travis Barker went by the moniker Duct Tape before settling on Blink. They added 182 to their name owing to a naming problem with another label mate. It's unclear whether it was because of the name, but they have many chart-topping songs and have sold millions of copies of their music. Their tracks are acclaimed for exploring human emotions. 3 Deaf Mice. One of the most well-known nursery rhymes is 3 Blind Mice. 3 blind mice, it goes. 3. Deafeningly watch how they move. Watch how they move. They all raced after the farmer's wife, who used a carving knife to cut off their tails. Have you ever seen such a spectacle in your life, as 3 blind mice? Several explanations have been presented as to the origin and significance of the rhyme, the most popular of which links them to the Oxford Martyrs, a trio of Protestants beheaded for their beliefs. Powerpuff Girls. The 3 ideal females Blossom, the leader, Bubbles, the girly one, and Buttercup, the manly one, are 3 of the series' most well-known characters. Every reiteration of the show, which debuted in 1998 and was rebooted in 2018, depicts the 3 girls' battles against villains like as Mojo Jojo, him, and the Gangrene Gang. Aside from the main show, the girls' universe has inspired spin-offs such as a 2006 anime series, various video games, and merchandise. The 3 Wise Men. The narrative of the 3 Wise Men is one of the most well-known set pieces in a nativity diorama and one of the most well-known Christmas customs. Contrary to common belief, they were never mentioned in the Bible. Indeed, the Bible makes no mention of 3 of them, only that Jesus received 3 gifts from wise men. Nonetheless, the myth has inspired numerous paintings, stories, cartoons, and books, and the wise men themselves have become a Christmas tradition. The Holy Spirit, the Father, and the Son. The Trinity, also known as the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit by others, is undoubtedly one of history's most influential trios. It is the foundation of many Christians' faiths around the world, as well as the inspiration for countless works of art. Water, grass, and fire. Here's another trio that aren't characters or real people. If you're a big Pokémon fan, you might recognize these 3. That's right, practically every major Pokémon game has had players select one of these 3 starters. For over 25 years, schoolyard brawls and debates have raged about which starter is superior. Whatever one's preference, the grass-fire-water triad has remained an integral component of Pokémon's identity to this day. The trio of tenors. The 3 tenors, José Carreras, Luciano Pavarotti, and Placido Domingo, have been credited for popularizing opera. Some of their performances have become legendary. Throughout his career, Pavarotti, in particular, became well known for his collaborations with pop stars. While some criticized his acts for degrading opera music, his performances helped mainstream opera outside its traditional audience. Fans and acquaintances alike grieved his death in 2007 after a fight with pancreatic cancer. 3 Wiccans. Finally, there are the 3 witches from Shakespeare's play Macbeth. Their ability of prophecy acted as both a blessing and a curse for the titular Macbeth, making them one of the older yet more legendary literary trios. Macbeth sets out to determine his destiny, knowing that he is destined to be king but also to a tragic fate. Hubris, in the end, only advances the witch's prophecy, and Macbeth dies in combat. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel, since we will be covering a lot of similar content in the future. Till next time, stay curious.